was 16, and I felt like there was no escape.
I went through some pretty severe physical trauma, emotional trauma.
I had my first suicide attempt my sophomore year.
First time she ever really hurt herself, I was at lost. I had no idea where to go.
We've done everything we can do. She's been to 8 different places.
I've seen other PHPs, I've seen other residentials, I've lived those. Nothing has ever impacted me like Roots.
And when I walked in that door, and Michelle and them gave me a hug.
It was a family. This place and how it's so much different than others.
And for the first time I started to see like hope.
When I was here, I genuinely felt like I was home.
They were the ones that helped me keep going when I didn't want to.
I love life now.
I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for this program.
They saved me.
This place, it saved my life.
You guys saved me, you saved my life.
As a parent, you can't ask for anything else.
I'm gonna say the catalyst was the death of my brother in November of 2020. He overdosed, and it was on the heels of a 20-year addiction. He started using 12, 13 years old. He went to probably 10 different programs over 20 years. And what we found is that it was just always a Band-Aid for sobriety. It never really got to what the problem was. Why was he using? Why was he doing the behaviors he was doing?
Just said, this is enough. And we have to rethink what therapy and counseling looks like. And so Michelle had this idea to start a residential treatment center, but to be different and to try to do things differently and reimagine what therapy could look like. And part of that was to have a ranch-type facility.
And they had a conversation about how we should start something like this, and he was able to say this is what worked in the facilities that I was at and this is what didn't work in the facilities that I was at.
We're gonna do this, we need to make sure that everything is relationship-based. He said, if I knew how to follow rules, I wouldn't need to be there in the first place. So he's like, it can't be about rules. The times that I felt the safest were the times that I actually felt like people cared about me. And so that is one of our major guiding principles at Roots.
The consistent thing that we have done is made them feel welcome, made them know that they are enough, and help them believe that, and know that we're working from our hearts, and it's not just a job.
When they come in and you see them struggling, and then when they leave and they have been able to do the work and they are happy and grateful and they leave, it's just a wonderful thing to see.
From seeing them from the very beginning not having any hope for themselves, and then to the end where they have a goal or an aspiration, something they want to do with their life, something that they love, something that lights up their eyes, that's my why.
I've been in therapy since I was in 5th grade. I've been to an inpatient facility, I've done outpatient treatments, I've been doing therapy almost as long as I can remember, and nothing seemed to really help. And I think that I was kind of over it at that point, over therapy, over seeing all these different people, because I felt that it just wasn't helping.
I was in therapy and she was like, we're gonna go somewhere. And I was like, no. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that.
And I promise you, 100% of the time, these girls that come in are gonna be mad at you, and they might not wanna talk to you for a couple weeks, but by the time they leave, I promise you they will say, thank you for saving my life.
I arrived at Roots, and I was like, this is pretty. I was like, it's really pretty here, but I hate it. I'm not gonna do what they want me to do.
And when I walked in that door, and Michelle and them gave me a hug. It was a family. She introduced herself, she introduced her sister, she introduced her husband, and I was like, you guys sound like us.
In my absence, she was being loved and cared for. But as a parent,
You can't ask for anything else.
I truly believe that everybody that works here has the passion and the drive to do the kind of work that we're doing and to pour their love and care into these girls.
I get settled in, and then I realized that like I could really do some real work here. And I just like listening to other people's stories and like seeing the girls that had been there for almost 90 days talking about like, oh, I was like that when I first came here, and now I like want to pursue sobriety and like I want better things for my life.
I wanted it to look very homey, because when you are in a very sterile clinical environment, it's just like any other place. You don't feel safe, you don't feel comfortable. And if they can get that immediately, we can really dive into them absorbing what we're trying to do with them better. So it looks pretty homey in there. We have 4 chefs that home cook incredible meals every day for them. 3 meals a day. They get Tempur-Pedic mattresses and goose down pillows and quilts.
I think having the responsibility of the animals was really, really helpful.
We have about 65 animals on the property that the girls get time to take care of.
Animals are always a hit. That's a big hit. And the idea behind the animals is connection. A connection to have something to take care of, something bigger than themselves, some responsibility. And believe it or not, they enjoy it. And oftentimes they find a favorite one.
Sometimes the only person I'd want to go out and talk to is the animals, like Alfredo the donkey. I'd go out there and I'd brush him out and we'd have a good 20-minute talk and I'd be all better.
One of his big things, and it's why we named it Roots, was one, we have to really focus on the families, because none of the places that he went focused on our family system. And our family system was broken. It was broken.
Our family dynamic was a huge part of why he was struggling and sought substances. And so the family is a really big aspect of our program. So we do family therapy along with individual therapy.
So those parent group, those sibling groups, our family weekend is extremely, extremely important because it teaches you how to rebuild your life on more safe boundaries, on how to rebuild your life with how you deal with your trauma and your depression, how parents can be there better for you and not worsen you. So that was a huge thing about Roots that no place I've ever been or ever has worried about family therapy.
We need help as parents. We keep getting her back and can't help her, and we end up at the same spot again. And what we were doing was completely wrong. And I've admitted that to her. I said, I didn't know we were doing the best we could with no resources. And so finding Roots, we got resources.
We are unapologetic about making the families be a part of this, because you can't just fix the kid. It's a family systems issue. We actually almost require the family to do as much work as the child when it comes to therapy.
Roots made me better through making my kid better and made our family stronger and better.
So here at Roots, our goal is to use the whole child approach to get to the root cause of the issue.
We're treating the whole person, biopsychosocial, spiritual. When they leave here, that they have a sense there's something greater than themselves, a higher power that will help them in their journey.
All these behaviors and these symptoms, they're secondary to a primary issue, and that's always what the root is. And so when they come here, we want to cleanse them.
We did a release fire, which is where we would bring like old photos and, write letters to people that we wanted to let go. So I wrote a letter to my younger self, and I basically said that I knew things were hard, and I'm sorry that you're feeling this way, but things are gonna get better. So I threw that into the fire, and then from that point, I just really started working on myself. And for the first time, I started to see like hope.
And that was the biggest thing I needed, was to know that I can show my emotions and I can have them, but I have to have a way to cope in a healthy way. And that place, this really did help me cope in a healthy way and figure out what I want to do and what I want to be as a person. I don't want to live in this darkness anymore.
To be great, you have to be different. And so that, for me, is what I believe we try to do here. We try to be different in education. We try to be different with programming. Try different things with therapy, new things, innovative things with the care that we provide.
Sometimes they don't believe me when I say we follow them after discharge. They're like, yeah, everybody says that. We really do.
I don't know if you've ever heard some people say the opposite of addiction is connection. When they leave us, it's not like their problems are just gone, right? And so we want to continue to be that supportive system for them and to help them build a community of their peers who understand what it's like to go through what they're going through. We're able to offer various alumni services such as alumni support groups, parent of alumni support groups, events, off-site events. We have cookouts where the girls come back on site and get to hang out with their animals and the favorite staff, and putting them in the position to be able to keep connecting and growing together is really, really special.
I just feel really blessed at the end of the day that I got a family out of it, that I can still come and visit.
They were there for me like my entire journey, and they saw me like at my lowest, and you know, they were the ones that helped me like keep going when I didn't want to.
We're here for them forever. Once you're at Roots, you're always part of Roots. Big old family.
What they give back, they don't realize what they give back. With their story, with their toughness, it's a real honor.
These girls are going to do really amazing things because they continue to prove it to me every single day.
I love life now. I coach club volleyball. I'm with kids all the time. I work at a kids salon right now.
And that's why we do what we do. You know, we believe that people can change.
We made the right decision. We did what was right for our child, and I can't thank them enough.
This place saved her life. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
You guys saved me, like you saved my life.
I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for this program.
We don't get a lot of do-overs when it comes to our children's lives.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need the help. It's okay to accept the help.